Hey guys, it's Phil here with another how-to YouTube video for Retro Central Hull and Yorkshire. I wanted to give you a little bit of a crash course on the sort of things that you're going to need to record some gaming footage. So, first thing you're going to need, obviously, you're going to need some sort of games console. Now, if you've got one of the more modern generations, so if you've got an Xbox One or a PS4, and maybe, I think the Switch has this as well, I don't know, I've not got one myself. They actually have their own native recording thing built into them, so you can just go into the menu and record up to an hour of footage. It'll save as an MP4 or an AVI or something on your console, and you can just drag that off and put it onto a computer and do any editing stuff that you want to do. If you've got a slightly older console, or if you're trying to do something slightly more complicated with the audio, so for example, I record stuff with a friend who is in Southampton, I'm in Cheltenham, so we have to record our audio separately because of how that recording thing works. And you also get a better audio quality using a real microphone as opposed to like a headset mic. So, assuming that you want to record something that doesn't have its own built-in native recording stuff, and you want a decent audio quality, video quality, you will need a gaming capture card. Here is a good example. Here's the one I use. It's a Roxio GameCap HD Pro. This one comes with an HDMI slot there, and it's also got, I think these are called composite lines. So I think that's I think Xbox 360 supports composite. So yeah, that'll let you capture most modern and certainly some of the previous generation of gaming footage. And so what this does is it sits between your console and the TV and your computer, whatever it is you're using to record with. And you have an input side, which is that one, and you have an output side. So the input side, you take the inputs from whatever console you're using, and on the output side, you send one line off to your computer and one line off to the TV, so that it's replicated you get a little viewing window on whatever it is you're recording on. You also get to see it on the screen still. So all you need for that is this GameCap card, 2 HDMI cables, and a USB, I think they call that a Type-C USB cable. I got this second hand, and I think it cost me something like 60 quid 2 years ago, so assuming you can still find them, they should be about that or cheaper. You can also buy the much newer versions of this, and they're obviously a bit more money. It really depends how much you want to put into doing this. So the other thing that you'll need to record, if you're looking to record audio separately, is you'll need a microphone. You'll notice currently I've got a microphone in front of me here. This is a fairly standard Shure SM58 microphone. Unfortunately, the little holding clip thing broke, so it's held in with duct tape, but you know, whatever works. But that's something like 50 to 60 quid's worth of microphone. I've got a 30 quid stand, and in addition to that, to get it to actually talk to the computer, I've got a USB capture thing there for my microphone, and that's another 30 quid. So just to get one microphone into the computer, you're already looking at over 100 quid. And I have this because I do some other music stuff and podcasting stuff that having good audio for makes a lot of sense. If all you're doing is gaming stuff and you don't really want to spend a lot of money, I bought this a while ago and I've used that for podcasting. It's a little USB condenser microphone with a volume switch on the front, and this is it's a Fifine. It's a little Chinese knockoff USB microphone. It cost me 30 quid. And honestly, I can't fault it. It's really, really handy, and it's a much cheaper way of doing this than you know, any of the more complicated setups like the one I've got. Right, so that's the sort of hardware that you need as a basis for starting recording. The other thing you're going to need is the software side of stuff. So I do this in a two-way approach. The first thing is I have a piece of software called GamerCap, and GamerCap. Hang on, let me just minimise myself so that we can see what's going on. Boop. There we go. GamerCap. Obviously, I've not got my card plugged in at the minute because I've got it in my hand. But when everything is set up and configured and ready to go, what you'll get is a nice little preview of what's happening here. You'll get a few options up in the top corner, so you can select which device is being captured from, where the video is coming from, where the audio is coming from. Don't worry about bitrate. That will typically go to something like 7.5 megabits per second, and that's to do with the quality of the audio and video that's being recorded. So the more megabits per second you have, the more data you capture, the higher the quality of the video. But this setup I've got is good enough for 1080p, I think. and depending on what you've got, maybe that's not even a concern for you. One of the things I like, so this GamerCap is a bit of software you've got to pay for, and I think it cost me something like 20 quid, and that's it. It's not a subscription thing, you just buy the software outright. The software that comes with, let me backtrack, Roxio are one of the cheaper brands of capture card. You can pay a lot of money for things that do a lot of additional stuff, and it comes with its own software, but the software that comes with the Roxio stuff is terrible. It's really, really buggy. It crashes all the time. GamerCap for 20 quid is a lot smoother, a lot more featured. One of the things it lets you do that the Roxio doesn't is it lets you directly add a microphone over the top of the video, so that you don't have to record audio and video separately. You can just talk, and it'll sync them all up nicely, and it'll give you a nice output at the end. The reason I don't like doing that is that you have a balancing thing here, so you can turn down the voice, or you can turn down the game. If you get that wrong, and you go in and you record it, and you only find out you've got that wrong at the end, then there's nothing you can do to fix that. So I like to keep the two things separate, but it does make a bit more work for you. You can also add a HD webcam. So now that it's selected, it gives you this little thing here, and you can place that wherever you want, and that will just give you basically what I've got in the bottom corner, wherever the bottom corner is on this thing here. Lets you put that over your video, and you get a few different options of a frame for that. And you've also got some options to stream directly to Twitch or to YouTube from this, which maybe that's your bag. It's not a thing I do very often. Okay, so second tab is just a... Oh, hello. It is a library of all the recordings you've made. So this was me playing Alienation with my friend Jason for our YouTube channel, FFS Jason Gaming. Then you've got a settings tab at the back, and that controls where you are saving your videos. And then all this stuff about codec, honestly, as long as you make a little recording and everything sounds fine, don't worry about it. There are probably things you can do to optimize it for your system, but most of the time, what's there as a default, if you're working on a Windows computer, will work fine. So don't care too much about that. The other thing that I have, because I like to record the audio separately, is a bit of free software, and that bit of free software is called Audacity. If you've done any recording on a PC before, there's a good chance you've seen this. It's just a very basic audio recording thing, so make sure that you've got your make sure that you've got the correct microphone selected, and then just record away. Look, there we go. I actually think I selected the wrong microphone. I think that's my laptop microphone, because that's really, really quiet. Stop when I tell you to stop. Let's try that. Test. Well, I don't know what's happening, but regardless, that's your very basic. Here is your stereo channel microphone recording, and you've got a lot of very simple to use effects here. So stuff like normalization is pretty good, because if you do what I do and occasionally sort of rock backwards and forwards with the microphone, you get a big variation in level. You can compress it, you can normalize it, so you get rid of some of that massive difference, and you see it makes it slightly better compared to the background noise, and that's quite nice. You can do things like where's it gone? Equalization. So there we go. This would give me a huge boost to the lower part of my voice. I sound like Barry White, and it takes out all of the hiss. This is just a random thing. I wouldn't recommend using that particular shape. It will make things sound really strange. But there you go. And then you can just export all that audio as a WAV file. Save that wherever you want, and add that into whatever it is that you want to do to your video. I think I'm probably going to make a separate video on how to take all this data and to make it into a cohesive video, but hopefully that's been a nice little crash course on the sort of stuff that you'll need and the sort of things you'll need to do to make a start in recording. One thing that I might, if I've got it installed, I don't know if I have, I don't think I've got it installed, but I can talk about it, is that if you're playing games on a Windows 10 computer, it has actually a really, really good inbuilt screen cap thing for computer games. So I did start recording some Legend of the Mystical Ninja before my old laptop broke. But you can install that, and it will you just give it an area. You say, oh, I want to capture this bit of the screen it will capture it, and it saves it in a really high quality format, and it's actually really robust. So if you've got a Windows 10 PC, I'd look into that. I think if you just Google Windows 10 game recording, it'll be one of the first hits on there. Cool. So any questions, drop me a line in below the video, or I'm sure I'll have commented on something in the Facebook group if you want to hit me up on the Facebook group. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you for the next video sometime soon. Cheers.